Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in to my super chat. Thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to continue rocking these live streams. To everyone in the chat room, thank you so much. And you're all wonderful. Thank you. I was actually published today, which is pretty cool, in the Daily Caller. And as you know, I was on RT stating that Democrats will not win the House or the Senate. The Republicans will keep control of the House and the Senate. And here is my article in the Daily Caller. Please go ahead and share it. I hope you like it. And it was just published today. 6 reasons why Republicans will keep control of the House and Senate. I'm very, very, very happy it was out, because this, in addition to every day on my channel, and in addition to the RT, when people say, "Oh my God, how did this happen? What? This is such stunning news." No, I've been saying, the CNN, MSNBC, the pundits, the liberal pundits have not only got it wrong in 2016, they're going to get it wrong again in 2018. But before we get to that, let's go ahead. So I was published in the Daily Caller today. Very happy about that. But let's go ahead. Let me give you a quick recap. Thank you, Greenwood Tree. Thank you. Thank you, Janice Webb. Thank you, everyone. And let me go ahead and give you a quick kind of Lachlan Bird, thank you so very much for the kind message. 116,660. That's not even close. I would say conservatively 500,000. Thank you so much, Lachlan. That means a lot to me. I know that the channel, my voice perhaps might have a bit more of a reach than 116,000, but I'm just so happy that people are listening to me. And it's pretty cool. I wrote so much during the election, and I just got burned out. And so every once in a while, when I get published in the Daily Caller, I'm very happy. Luckily, people are still, reading my books on Amazon, but are top secret emails debunking the Trump-Russia myth. And they were very cool. In the Daily Caller, they put H.A. Goodman as an author, and they put links to those 2 books of the 4 that I've written. But what happened with Carter Page? Carter Page was utilized as a person to hurt, a person to use as a tool to classify more information, as a tool to add more suspicion, blow more smoke. There was no evidence. There was no nothing. But Carter Page was somebody, anyone associated with Trump, they either framed, set up, or tried to take down because of things that had nothing to do with Trump-Russia. So, hello, everyone. So let's just go ahead really quickly. This is really interesting. Carter Page was a Trump advisor who lectured and worked in Russia and actually had a long-term relationship with the FBI. The FBI knew who he was. He would be debriefed by the FBI all the time. There was nothing nefarious going on with Carter Page. Carter Page was referenced in a Steele dossier. Because of that, they said, well, we have to go ahead and we have to spy on him. Now, there was no reason to spy on Carter Page. Okay, so once again, there was no reason to spy on Carter Page. It was complete fake news, complete and utter fake news. Why aren't I 50 points ahead? The only reason to spy on Carter Page, it was just one of many examples where the FBI tried to find some reason, to prolong and make the investigation into Trump even larger than it should have been. You can't start an investigation based on gossip and hearsay. Then you have this, like, PolitiFact does this all the time. Donald Trump's falsely says new Carter Page documents shows Steele dossier launched Russia probe. Well, it did, but let's see the reasoning. This is like a while back. In July, President Donald Trump claimed newly released documents underlying the FBI surveillance of former campaign advisors show the controversy. And now we know that just today, the Steele dossier, that Peter Strzok utilized deliberate and strategic media leaks. They had a media leak strategy. To go ahead and pump information into the media and then utilize that information like they did with Mother Jones and other like they perhaps did with Mother Jones and other publications to then justify ongoing new investigations or ongoing investigations. But here, let's just look at PolitiFact really quickly before we start with the new revelations that Peter Strzok deliberately leaked information to the media to undermine Trump and frame Carter Page. So they put 100% false. Oh my God, it was false for starting the FBI probe. President Donald Trump claimed newly released documents underlying the FBI surveillance of a former campaign advisor show the controversial Steele dossier was responsible for triggering the investigation. It was. Without the Steele dossier, there is no investigation. The Steele dossier, BuzzFeed is suing the DNC because there's nothing to the Steele dossier, and it's getting sued by Russian entrepreneur and Russian bankers. Then it says Trump advisor George Papadopoulos triggered an investigation. According to the New York Times, Papadopoulos told a high-ranking Australian diplomat at an upscale London bar in May 2016 that Moscow had political dirt on Hillary Clinton. That's not a crime. Again, that is not a crime, even if it's true. And how do you know? How do you start an investigation based on the word of Alexander Downer, an Australian diplomat, without getting that Australian diplomat under oath or interviewing him? Where's the FBI interview of Alexander Downer? Where is the congressional testimony of Alexander Downer? So you don't have, and Mueller appointed later. Trump also confused the timeline. So it's like, you're not really, how on earth? Trump said the Steele dossier was responsible for starting special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. The Steele dossier did not trigger Mueller's investigation. It was information from Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, because they were she purchased the Steele dossier around the same time. The whole point, the whole investigation, the entire investigation, even if that's true that the Papadopoulos information was prior to the Steele dossier, it was hearsay and gossip. The actual dossier is what was used to go ahead and spy on Carter Page. Then it says Carter Page testimony is filled with breakthroughs and supports key portions of the Steele dossier. Well, what does it support? Page revealed during his testimony that he met with members of Russia's president's administration. So what? And the head of investor relations at a Russia state-owned oil giant. So what? Christopher Steele very likely knew that Carter Page was meeting these people. He was in Russia and he had business in Russia, but it's okay to have business in Russia. It's really not a problem at all. In fact, it's not illegal. In fact, I don't know, William D. Campbell, the FBI informant, who stated that Bill and Hillary, that Russian lobbyists were bragging about their influence over Clinton and Obama. He actually stated that the Obama administration was compromised. And how do we know? Well, 20% of U.S. uranium capacity was sold to the Russians. Oh, that was fine. There's no problem. The Committee on Foreign Investment. So what if the Committee on Foreign Investment approved it? There was no way they weren't going to approve something that Clinton and Obama wanted. So how do you go? What's more egregious? 20% of U.S. uranium capacity, or Carter Page not wingless angel? Hello, wingless angel. We love you. Wingless angel, we love you. Thank you for watching. So this doesn't show anything. Page also disclosed that Trump campaign advisor named Sam Clova asked him to sign a non-disclosure agreement upon joining the campaign. So what? There's nothing here. Page spoke to a top Russian state-owned oil company official in an oil company. So what? So those things are corroborated. What about everything else that is the Steele dossier alleges, which is libel if it's not true, if there's no evidence? Christopher Steele, the man behind the Trump dossier. This is the New Yorker. They try to go ahead and they're going to wonder. Steele, okay, so it's too early to make the final judgment about how the Steele dossier will be proved wrong. How about there's no evidence? But a number of Steele's major claims have been backed up by subsequent. No. His allegations that the Kremlin favored Trump in 2016 and was offering his campaign dirt on Hillary Clinton has been borne out. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. There's no link between Natalia Veselnitskaya. This is like overt fake news. This was in the New Yorker. Campaign dirt on Hillary Clinton. They keep on bringing up the Trump Jr. meeting, which actually points to Clinton's criminal activity. She used an unencrypted server outside the United States government. It was in her bathroom or basement. I have to find. I keep saying basement, but I have to make sure it was in the bathroom or the basement. Either way, it's illegal. She illegally transferred top secret intelligence. If Natalia Veselnitskaya, who met, by the way, before and after with Glenn Simpson, it was a complete setup with Trump Jr. But there was nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal. And in 2016, 2008, they wanted Obama. So what? So has his claim that the Kremlin and WikiLeaks were working together to release the DNC emails. Where on earth is there any evidence of that? This is the New Yorker. Where on earth is there evidence that the Kremlin and WikiLeaks were working together? That has nothing. If that's in the Steele dossier, it's 100% wrong. There's no evidence. Prove it. Where's the evidence? Key elements of Steele memos on Carter Page have held up. Like what? Including the claim that Page had secret meetings in Moscow. Secret meetings with Rosneft and Kremlin officials. So what? They still haven't proven that the Kremlin hacked the DNC. They're confident about that. The only people who say that are CrowdStrike, and they were purchased by Hillary Clinton. Victor Lugo, did you see General Kelly busted Lindsey Graham passing intel to Huma, staring him down? I got my eye on you at the. Victor, I didn't. There's a that. Victor Lugo. I saw something. I heard something about that, and I just saw the the photo of the YouTube segment. But Victor, I did not see the YouTube segment. Victor Lugo, thank you so very much. So this is overt fake news. There's nothing but an assessment from the intelligence community that says that. And they don't make any definitive claims. The NSA is only moderately confident, and they would know who hacked what. Steele may have named the wrong oil company official. Okay, he named it wrong. According to recent congressional disclosures, he was correct that a top Rosneft executive talked to Page about a payoff. Where is the evidence of that? Page never stated that. According to Democrats, a report when Page was asked if Rosneft executive had offered him potential sale of significant percent, Page said he may have briefly mentioned it. Yeah, but it had nothing to do with anything regarding Trump Russia. So let's just go ahead. So if you look at I'm looking at the Steele dossier right now. Let's look at what it says for Carter Page. How many references does it have to this guy? Speaking in confidence to a compatriot in late July 2016, source B, an ethnic Russian close associate of Republican U.S. President. Who is source B? This is all nonsense. I have to say, I read this a long time ago, but I never really read this in one of my live streams. It is complete and utter nonsense when you read this in front of other people. Thank you, Bob Smith. Thank you. It's just like if you read this, it's like complete and utter garbage. Democrats are like, well, some things were proven, right? It's all gossip. So what? If you're at the movies with your mom and then somebody sees you and then somebody says, oh my God, you were with another woman? And your wife finds out, well, gee, there's just a minor little thing that you're missing when you spread the gossip. Speaking in confidence to a compatriot in late July 2016, source B, an ethnic Russian close associate of Republican U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump. Again, this is complete gossip. Admitted that there was a well-developed conspiracy of cooperation between them and the Russian leadership. This is fiction, like the epitome of fake news. This was managed on the Trump side by Republican candidate campaign manager Paul Manafort. He had nothing. They got him on the have you ever read the Steele dossier? I'm actually reading the Steele dossier right now. This is a link on BuzzFeed's initial release where they say these reports allege Trump has deep ties to Russia. It's not. They're not reports. They're complete and utter hearsay gossip. And if it was used against Clinton, they would put their foot down. They would say, "Oh my God!" It is even offensive to them to say, "Lock her up." Can you believe it? Lock her up is like offensive to them, even though she committed crimes. And Comey said, well, she was too stupid to realize what she was doing. She didn't intentionally transfer top secret intelligence. But I have to read this to you because it's complete and utter nonsense. It is complete and utter nonsense. So they blame Paul Manafort. They accuse him of a conspiracy and was using foreign policy advisor Carter Page and others as intermediaries. There's no evidence of that. So I did everyone a disservice for all these months not reading this. I read it a while ago, and it's like complete nonsense. I kept saying it's complete nonsense, but actually reading it in front of people, in front of little Donnie and Alcatraz Hilly, it's crazy. So let's go ahead. Hold on. Carter Page. Let's go ahead. Hold on one second. And then they have Michael Cohen. 5 Republican President Donald Trump lawyer Michael Cohen and Kremlin representatives in August 2016. He never met with Kremlin representatives. Although the communication between them had to be for security reasons, the Kremlin insider clearly indicated to his or her friend the report contacted. No, there's. Oh, sorry, Prague. Where's Prague? Hold on. Kremlin insider reports Trump lawyers secretly met with 3 Kremlin officials in August 2016. Were held in Prague. He's never been to Prague. Some of the things that were, things that happened to take place don't prove the Steele dossier. Just because somebody was at a certain location doesn't mean they met with Kremlin operatives. That doesn't make any sense. This is basic logic. It's like basic logic. And people are like, well, some things have been proven. It's kind of difficult to go ahead and. So Carter Page. Let's go ahead. Carter Page. Okay, so where's Carter Page? Secret Kremlin meeting attended by Trump advisor Carter Page in Moscow, July 2016. No, that never happened. Trump advisor Carter Page holds secret meeting in Moscow with Sechin and senior Kremlin and international affairs officials. Well, is it a secret meeting or was it one of his lectures? It's like they take here and there. They'll say, "Oh, well, this person was there, so he had to go ahead and engage in nefarious activity." None of this has led to a shred of evidence. A Russian source close to Rosneft, Putin, a close associate, confided details of a recent meeting, foreign affairs, Kremlin, Carter Page. So, yes, so what if he actually met with the initial claim that he was part of a conspiracy with Paul Manafort? There's no evidence of that. This is all written like a high schooler who had a report, like an English paper, and they had to go ahead and just write some like kind of fantasy novel. And the night before, they're like, "Oh man, I haven't done the work." And it says, okay, let's go ahead. Trying to look up something that's difficult here. So it's all nonsense. It is all nonsense. It's like unbelievable. It's pure gossip. There's no way to verify it because it's pure gossip. And if the tables were turned and this was used against Hillary, like the public record is enough for Hillary Clinton. The actual public record is enough. The public record is enough to say, hey, you know what? This implicates Clinton. She deliberately transferred top secret intelligence. It is not illegal to meet to discuss dirt on Hillary. You want to know why? Because what she engaged in is criminal activity. If another country hacked her emails and they have information about the email hacking, that's not illegal. It's not illegal. The illegal part is Clinton using an unencrypted server. And you have millions of Democrats who are like, oh my God, they tried to get Hillary's emails. Yeah, because they were hacked by China, Russia, everyone on the planet. Can't you see that it was illegal what Clinton did? They're like, well, you know what? It's just not fair. Oh, but you know what? A fake news dossier, complete fake news. And if all of this is if Manafort, Michael Cohen, and Carter Page had a conspiracy of cooperation as intermediaries, that Page conceived and promoted the idea of leaking stolen DNC emails, this is the Wikipedia page. He didn't. Because guess what? They weren't hacked by Russia. There's no evidence of that, and Russia had nothing to do with it. But why would you go ahead and make everything to do what they've done? It's pretty unbelievable. And I keep saying this, but it's very difficult to explain. They've criminalized things that aren't criminal, and they've neutralized their own crimes by linking their own crimes to what they claim is suspicious behavior of their political opponents. And if that's not convoluted enough, just trying to explain it is very difficult. Putin hated and feared Clinton. No, he didn't fear Clinton. She said nothing. She opposed the Magnitsky Act, and she said nothing about the sale of uranium to Putin. This is, I mean, only a fool would believe this. Only a fool would believe this. Meanwhile, you have... Thank you, Kristen email. Hello, Kiyoshi. It's unbelievable. So let's go ahead and switch topics just a little bit because I'm pretty proud of this. So I was published today in the Daily Caller, and I'll go ahead. Here it is to almost 500 people. I'll just share it again. Please go ahead and share it. So I am on RT's Crosstalk. Let's go ahead and just listen to me because I say this every day, and I know but it's just, you have to kind of, I'll read the article right now, But you every single day you hear about Trump's demise. Oh my God. Simon Brown, HA, please look at QQ. This real Q is red pilling heaps. Simon, thank you so very much. I respectfully and humbly disagree. I believe that Q is very dangerous because it's anonymous. It's just a no-name message board. So very different from the actual bunch of hackers who are anonymous. They are human beings that exist. This is just a message board. I just think it's very dangerous. But anyway, I don't want to get too into that right now. But Simon, thank you so very much. I appreciate, your message and your support of this channel. Thank you. Opinion, 6 reasons Republicans, I wanted to say will keep control, but they put might keep control of Congress during midterms. I'm going to read this to you, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you to give me your thoughts. Definitely try to go ahead and read this if you can. Please share it. Here's the article. Talk of a blue wave during the 2018. Hold on one second. Just make sure the volume is up. Talk of a blue wave during the 2018 congressional midterms is reminiscent of the media's coverage of a Clinton landslide during the 2016 presidential elections. Media and Democrats have overlooked several key factors, from Trump's approval rating within the GOP to over 4% GDP growth for the latest quarter. Misreports are paving the way for yet another stunning defeat, with liberal pundits forced to explain, again, why they were wrong with allegedly data-driven predictions. Below are 6 reasons Democrats will not be able to wrestle control of the House and Senate away from Republicans in November. Number 1. So this is my Daily Caller article, published today. Very proud of it because I'm on RT's Crosstalk saying that the Senate and the House will not flip and will remain Republican. They'll keep control. The GOP will keep control of the Senate and the House. Number 1, Democrats have only won 2 of 10 special elections for Congress against Republican challengers since the 2016 election. Since Trump's elections, Republicans have won special elections for Congress in Kansas, Montana, Georgia, South Carolina, Utah, Arizona, Texas, and Ohio. Democrats have only 2 victories in Alabama and Pennsylvania that were linked to Republican incumbents or challengers disgraced by bizarre sex scandals. When you're running against Roy Moore or the GOP incumbent is someone like Tim Murphy, close victories shouldn't be a sign of any blue wave. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, John Ossoff spent $30 million in a losing effort. GOP voters aren't necessarily swayed by challengers with deep pockets. Trump won, being outspent 2-1 by Clinton. So on the first point, they're looking at turnout for some governor's races. So the incumbents were Democrats anyway. And you have John Ossoff, who spent $30 million, outspent his challenger considerably. By one estimate, it's like 5-1. And he still lost. And the polls were saying he was up by 7. He was up. Oh, my God. So the House of Representatives, if you vote for the House of Representatives and the Senate, which does not look good for Democrats, there are more Senate seats up for grabs than Republican. But the House of Representatives consists of 435 races, 435 districts, where if you are conservative, you are going to go out and vote because, number 2, President Trump has an 85% approval rating within the Republican Party. Trump won the election. Thank you, Greg Fernandez. Thank you. Thank you. Trump won the election with a 60% of Americans having an unfavorable view of him. If you win the election with 60% of Americans having an unfavorable view of you, the notion of these polls, these these polls saying, and it was different. I said Clinton could. I was saying in 2015, Hillary Clinton could not win because she was unelectable because of the favorability ratings she possessed and her scandals. But Democrats, you have to like a Democrat. You don't necessarily have to like Trump. His personality, the negative traits of his personality, are also things that people like about him. The fact that he's in your face is repulsive to some, but also, like, I love it. So his favorability is, like, unique. But people who are going to turn out, they're like, well, you know, his approval rating is low. Like a lot of liberal pundits, or like, you know, there's a blue wave. It's a referendum on Trump. Well, so was the Atlanta race or the Georgia race, and Ossoff still lost. But President Trump has an 85% approval rating. He has between an 85 and a 90% approval rating. It varies depending on the poll. Liberal pundits don't realize that GOP voters aren't voting for a generic Republican this November. So let me go ahead and send this to you again. Polls ranging from 14-point lead to a 4-point Democratic lead aren't entirely relevant to GOP voters in historically conservative districts. They're voting in large part to ensure. So, like, most districts just vote for the incumbent. If it's a Republican district, they'll vote Republican. If it's a Democratic district, they'll vote Democrat. Democrats are like, oh well, these Republicans will surely see come to their senses and vote responsibly. They're not going to vote Democrat because they hate Democrats. They're not going to vote because just because you don't like Trump's personality doesn't mean you're going to vote for a Democrat. They're voting in large part to ensure their representatives don't take marching orders from Nancy Pelosi. By the way, nobody likes Nancy Pelosi. Even people within the Democratic Party can't stand her. So, and by the way, if she wins, she'll be like, oh, you see, I was right all along. And if she loses, it'll just be complete chaos. They're going to go after Bernie voters. They're going to go after the progressives. So, most importantly, Trump has the second highest approval rating within his party at the 500-day mark since World War II. Republicans overwhelmingly support Trump, despite the never-ending histrionics from Hollywood, the press, and Twitter warriors. They're going to show up in November like they've done in the 10 prior special elections since Trump's election, where the GOP is 8-2. Now, number 3 is an important one, ladies and gentlemen. Of Americans surveyed, 77% believe mainstream media reports fake news. Okay, that's from Politico, and that's a Monmouth University poll. I just read some fake news regarding this, like the most ridiculous. Well, it's the Kremlin worked with that's been proven. No, it has not been proven that WikiLeaks worked with the Kremlin. There's no evidence of that, aside from an intelligence report that James Clapper. So, yes, Democrats have outperformed prior voter turnout figures in recent special elections, but they've still lost 8 out of 10 congressional special elections. This blue wave is primarily media-driven, not policy-focused. Well, what are Democrats voting for? They're not voting for anything. They're voting because they hate Trump. There's not going to be a blue wave. And they're not going to get 23 seats, and I'll explain number 4. Furthermore, the media and Democrats are reviled by a large segment of the population. The same people who are saying it's game over for Trump are the same people who are reviled. The media and the Democratic Party are hated by you, by me, by large segments of the population. They're just too arrogant to realize how hated they are. They're even hated by their own voters, but that's a whole other story. Number 4, Democrats, and this is an important one. Democrats have not achieved more than a net gain of 23 House seats since 2006. They currently need 23 seats. Like, you're going to need, let's put it this way, and this is really important to the almost, Kristen email, yes, we do. But to the almost 500 people watching, This is really important. How do you know? Like, they'll probably gain seats, 5, 10 seats, 15, 20, even 21. They're not going to get 23. But let's say they get just this. Let's say they don't have a blue wave. And they're like, well, how do we know they're not going to lose seats or gain only 5 or 10? If they gain only 10 seats, they're done as a political party. There's no way to spin. Like, if they gain 17 seats, it would be a monumental, catastrophic victory, defeat for them. If they gain 22 seats and fail to get 23, it'll be catastrophic. It'll be like losing by 1 point at the end with a buzzer beater. But if they get 12 seats, if they get 17 seats, there's no way they can say, well, we'll flip 6 or 7 Republicans. It will be a slap in the face by Trump. It will be humiliating, but they set themselves up for humiliation. It's like one of those fetishes. They love to be like humiliated. I have no idea why anyone would want that, but I'm sure there's a fetish like that. They have a humiliation fetish. They love to be just embarrassed and humiliated. Crazy Eddie, I think so also. It's like they just love, and so they've set themselves a blue wave. When I first heard of Trump-Russia collusion, I was like, that's so stupid. Who would believe that? Then it became mainstream. When I first heard of the blue wave, I'm like, that's really dumb. That's so stupid. Now you're reaching. But then it became blue wave. It's going to be a blue wave. It's not going to be a blue wave, idiots. Imbeciles. It's not going to be a blue wave. You're 2 and 8. You're 2 and 8 in congressional races, special elections. 2 and 8. Even in 2008 elections, with the election of President Obama, Democrats only managed a net gain of 21 seats. Now, check it out. In places where the Senate is in play for Republicans and they can flip seats, that's going to help them also in House races. So, and they're trying to say like Dana Rohrabacher in California is going to lose his seat. No, he won't. That I know that area where he his district, and there are parts of it that are so Republican, very beautiful parts of his district, by the way, like Newport Beach, California, very, very beautiful. Along the coast, very beautiful, like really, really beautiful. But they're not going to go ahead. This is not the Medicare for All district. Not. So you have to go ahead and if you're from, let's say, Wisconsin or Minnesota or California, there are places, even New York, there are places that are just conservative places. And they're not going to flip. And what? He's been there for like 30 years now, or 25 years, something like that. Dana Rohrabacher is going to win. Because the people in his district don't want Nancy Pelosi running the show. And the only thing they can try to say, oh, he's a Kremlin candidate. No, he's not. That whole thing nobody cared about. Devin Nunes is going to win also. So it's like the Democrats have gaslit or gaslighted themselves. They're very good at deceiving themselves. Number 5, this is a hilarious one. And to the 500 people, I'm reading my Daily Caller article. Here it is. Democrats are running former CIA officials or candidates too far to the left in conservative districts. So this is not a joke. Like Trump he won on draining the swamp, and they're like, well, let's flood the swamp into Congress. Democrats are like, maybe if we flood the swamp, we can win. Like every single talking point is so stupid. They're like, you don't care about the CIA. Oh, CIA. She had CIA. This one had CIA agents on her server that was hacked by China. Then you get Beto. His name should be Drunko O'Rourke. That's the only reason I'm saying that is because of the. The only reason I say that is not. It's because of his drunk driving conviction. Drunko Beto. Did you say Steven Crowder has the best? I'm better than you. Steve, I listened to a lot of Steven Crowder and Styx lately. I'm addicted to them lately. Well, Styx I always listen to. I always watch Styx. I remember saying people should watch Styx in 2016, when he was like predicting everything. Cool Blue 71, New York Dem. Party recently accused Cynthia Nixon of being soft on anti-Semitism for the supposed polling lead of Governor Andrew Cuomo. This is desperate. Exactly. Well, I mean, that's the thing. The Democrats are like, what they've done, it's this virus. It's the SJW like virus, mental virus. Soft on anti-Semitism. No one is soft on racism or anti-Semitism. What they've done, it's the whole like, how hard is it to condemn the Nazis? Just condemn them. What sane person wouldn't condemn racism or Nazis or whatever? If you bring it up and say, oh, you got to condemn. Well, yeah, obviously he did. He did. But that whole thing was like a deadly photo op for Terry McAuliffe in the Democratic Party. By the way, Shana Tova to Jewish people watching. I'm Jewish, and I had a New Year's dinner, like a Jewish New Year's dinner tonight. But see, like Cynthia Nixon is, like Cuomo, who's like, I hate America more than Cynthia Nixon. You think she hates America? She doesn't hate America the way I do. America was never great. That's what he said. But the thing is, like, that's the Democrats are like, they take this, they're like, you don't condemn cancer. You don't condemn Satan. You don't condemn all bad things. It's like, yeah, we do. Thank you, everyone. And so it's like, so Cool Blue 71. Cynthia Nixon could possibly win, which would be hilarious. It would be like the Democratic Party flirting with something that doesn't hurt Trump, but hurts them. They're like, we love socialism. We love socialism. What's wrong with socialism? Well, there's more Democrats who like it, but you won't win the House or Senate with it. Sorry. And I never viewed Bernie as a socialist. Like I viewed Bernie as trying to make capitalism more efficient. If you look, I wrote 100 times saying he was going to win. He was the best candidate. Da, 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 da. I never said because he was socialist. And Vox, never forget, Ezra Klein of Vox deliberately tried to paint him as a socialist. And he did that to help Hillary. In their first interview, Ezra Klein is like, you're a socialist, right? And Bernie was like, no, democratic socialist. And you saw Ezra Klein like, uh-huh. He didn't even say anything. He was like, he did that on purpose. Vox did that on purpose. If you look at the tape, it was Bernie and Ezra Klein. I remember watching because I was like, okay, please, like, because I knew kind of Vox was, but I'm like, be fair to him. And the first thing the first thing Vox did was to hurt him. The first thing, because they would try to knock him out, saying a socialist, not possible. That's what, like, Claire McCaskill too. He's like, well, he's too extreme, and now they love him. They don't love. They're going to turn on Bernie. They're going to attack and turn. They're going to do him dirty like they did the Green Party. They did the Green Party so dirty. That what they did to the Green Party was horrendous, but it was very typical of the Democrats. They actually, what was it like? I think it was Alyssa Milano who tweeted like it could have been a Russian plot with the Green Party. I hope she was joking. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt saying she was joking. Democrats are running former CIA officials or candidates too far to the left in conservative districts. In an era where voters elected Trump to drain the swamp, Democratic candidates Elisa Slotkin in Michigan and Abigail Spanberger in Virginia are former CIA officials. Golf clap for the former CIA official Democrats. Golf clap. Golf clap. Fantastic. That is really great. That is a fantastic strategy. Where did you get that strategy? Did someone like bang you over the head with like a giant hammer? Jim Carrey is like, I grew up in Canada, and he's like, yeah, when you grew up, what, 40 years ago? The guy's like, what, close to 60 or over 60? It's changed. By the way, like I was for single payer, but at the same time, I only viewed it as one of many, an overall change. If I could, I wanted to change things, and I also had a different mentality. And so I'm like, Bernie, like, change the system. Trump is changing the system now. I would much rather have corrupt FBI officials fired, peace with North Korea, great economy. There were some things that I liked about Bernie's platform, but if I can't have those, and single payer was just one of them. And by the way, I didn't realize that you'd have to double personal and corporate income tax. And I went through the explanation also. People are like, well, people don't have health insurance. Yeah, but Medicare has a $5,000 to $7,000 out-of-pocket costs. The Affordable Care Act has a $7,000 out-of-pocket cost maximum. People don't have $7,000. A lot of people don't have $7,000 in the year. So it's like they're not Medicare for all. It's like Democrats are running for, okay, in an era where voters elected Trump to drain the swamp, Democratic candidates Elisa Slotkin and Abigail Spanberger in Virginia. Elisa Slotkin in Michigan and Abigail Spanberger in Virginia are former CIA officials. Why would Republicans vote for former CIA officials? The whole thing is they hate Brennan. They're so smart, they've outsmarted themselves, Democrats, as usual, because, well, maybe they're not that smart. As for Medicare for all candidates running in red states, they've yet to justify a Mercatus study that says, quote, and I quote, a doubling of all currently projected federal, individual, and corporate income tax collections would be insufficient to finance the added federal costs of the plan. But don't worry, they'll jettison that once they lose because the Democrats will go crazy. No, Sigil J. HA intelligence didn't leak to influence the public. They were creating more circular evidence for the court. Exactly. No, Sigil J. Exactly. Exactly. No, Sigil J. All they did was they're like, oh my God, let's hey, journalist, here's some info, published it. Then they went to the courts. Oh, we got info from these journalists. Gee, how did they get to this? This is really big. No, Sigil J, you're 100% right. Thank you so much. As always, No, Sigil J, you are awesome. Thank you. The economy, Supreme Court picks, tax cuts, and other achievements under the Trump administration, with Kavanaugh about to be confirmed as Trump's second SCOTUS pick, a possible 5% GDP figure in late October, and the Mueller probe fizzling away with Papadopoulos receiving a shorter sentence than certain traffic violations. The blue wave is another fantasy. H.A. Goodman is the author of Butter Top Secret Emails and Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth. The views and opinions expressed in this commentary are those of the author and do not reflect the official position of the Daily Caller. Love the Daily Caller. Great publication. And this is my article from today. November 6th, 2018 is going to be. Twitter is going to be on just insane that day. Because it was insane. I mean, people, they were like Russian plots. Oh my God, the Green Party is Russian, all these things. And here's me on RT. And the Democratic Party, they're going to lose in the midterms. They had like what, a 13 or 14 point lead in the generic polls for both the House or the. This is me on RT's Crosstalk. House and the Senate. They'll lose the Senate, or the GOP will keep control of the Senate and keep control of the House. And they're going to limp into 2020. Trump, unless there's something, God forbid, that's just unforeseen, Trump will easily defeat Democrats in 2020 because Democrats don't stand for anything. They don't stand for anything. They're like this, and you should see like Trump's going to declassify it exactly. It's like what they do, Democrats, every single day. It's just gossip. It's just gossip. They only care about gossip. Because WikiLeaks gave them like the biggest, like, mind you know what. They stand for anything. They have the biggest chip on their shoulder, like, oh yeah, WikiLeaks went ahead and published actual real documents showing real corruption. Well, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. But we're going to use just gossip. And
this fake news was indeed fake news. The news is fake. We don't want fake news. You are fake news.
And just fake news. That's all they care about. It's like, did you hear what Bob Woodward said? I don't give a crap. I don't care what Bob Woodward said. Really, I don't. 2020 fantasy losing. Oh, I got Hillary as number one loser in my draft. Cool Blue 71. The 2020 fantasy losing Democratic ticket draft. Hillary, I think you have it pretty on point right there. Hillary, Debbie Wasserman above Adam Schiff, who is above John Brennan, who would be above Peter Strzok. Cool Blue 71. You actually have the 2020 fantasy rankings for the Democratic losers. Thank you, Cool Blue 71. That's actually perfectly written. Don't stand so close to me, Biden. Biden's like, this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Hi, I'm Joe Biden. Like, oh my God. You can leave now, Biden. Freakazoid. Dr. Hayes, I think it won't work. The censorship is a last-ditch effort. The day they censored Alex Jones was the day after Troy Balderson won in Ohio. They should have had like one of those like like Alex Jones laughing with like the thing in the background, like Dashcam Sam. Dem's game plan is built on nonsense. To believe in nonsense is an unforgivable demonstration of loyalty. Unforgeable demonstration of loyalty. It serves as a political uniform. And if you have a uniform, you have an army. Yeah, and the Democrats have an army of just gaslighting imbeciles. I agree with you. It's built on nonsense. It's built on calling... Look, Dr. Dashcam Sam, you're right. And the Democrats exist to let you and me and everyone know how horrible they are. That's why Democrats exist. That's it. That's it. And they love they love they love socialism now, but they cheated Bernie. How does that work? How does that work? You love it so much you cheated him. It's like oh, I love you so much I had to beat you up. Kathleen Cohn, the number one thing Hillary wanted most. God said hell no. You promised me. Oh, you promised me. More like this, like, you promised me. What? How dare you forsake me? How dare you forsake me? That's funny. The number one thing Hillary wanted most, God said hell no. That's so great. It's going to be a crazy, crazy reaction from Democrats when they lose again. Oh my God. Watching something. A woman came crashing through a ceiling in California. Just crazy. She was treated for minor injuries. She was on drugs. That's typical California. Just joking. Just don't go to a CVS at night in California. Just joking. I'm joking. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You are all wonderful. Be here. Tell your friends all throughout the day. I will be starting live streams at like 8 in the morning. Like all throughout the day, uploads and live streams. This will be election day. It'll be like another election day. November 6, 2018. The midterms. Blue wave. Let's look at the blue wave. Type it in. Let's see what you get. Is a blue wave coming? GOP braces for Democratic surge. It's too late to stop a blue wave. A blue wave gains momentum as DC overlooks critical numbers. Senator, what critical numbers? I want to hear this. Yeah, that's not good. No. Blue wave. Is the White House prepared for a blue wave? It's too late to stop a blue wave. And then like, wah, 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 a blue wave, Kentucky voter registration says no. Oh my God. There's a moment for Beto, Drunko, O'Rourke, but a blue wave may. There's momentum, but a blue wave may be exaggerated. Oh, now everyone's turning, turning H.A. Goodman now. I love it. This is Yahoo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Have a great, great evening. To my super chat, thank you so much. Hit subscribe right now. And go ahead and please share my latest Daily Caller article. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great, great evening, great day if you're watching from another country. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.